Hello. Let's see how this works. Want to make sure y'all can still hear and see me okay? Quality okay? Hey, Rip. Excellent. I think it's working. I don't have my headphones on this evening, so you'll have to let me know if you can hear okay. But I took some of you guys' advice, and I have moved the chat down to my computer. So I think that's working. So if it is working, let me know. I see Rip's chat. So that's good. Ooh. Yep, popped up in my chat too. Hey, Carolyn. Good evening. I thought we'd do it outside tonight, if you don't mind. Oh, excellent. Rip says, hey, Brian, we just processed our first pig this weekend. I'll send an email with pictures and let you know how it went. Oh, Karen. Karen says, sorry, I can't watch tonight. I have to watch the replay. Have fun, everyone. Thank you, Karen. Have a good night. I apologize if I'm looking up and down, but I have the computer just below us. And I have my phone up high so that we're at eye level. I like things at eye level. First things first, if I fall asleep while we're doing this, it's because I'm having Nighty Night Extra. It has valerian in it. Can you read that? Valerian. Woo! It's delicious. It's very good. We're also outside, so if it gets a little cold, I brought the kettle outside so I can make another one so we don't freeze. It's actually not too cold out right now. It's in the 50s, I think. But I have my kettle set up. We have our extra tea. And we're ready to talk about this week. Man, it has been a week of up and downs, I'll tell you. From Sunday to Sunday, it's been a roller coaster. Last Sunday, as you guys know, we put pigs on the property, and that was a huge, huge jump for us. Oh, that's still really hot. We have had chickens before, we've had goats before, we've had rabbits before, but in small numbers. And for some reason, a pig felt like an actual real like barnyard animal. So we got it up, we got the fence up, everything's working. All that's going really well. And then Monday, I went back to work. It was the last day of my work cycle. And I was on the safety car, which is a new position for me. I'm acting safety officer now. Sometimes. My position as a lieutenant allows me to float around. So I got to do that. But that same Monday, I had to go to our one of our fire department chaplains. Excuse me, my cat is being noisy. Hey. I'm sorry. I don't know if you could hear that thing or not, but he was rustling through the leaves, and that's all I could hear, and I could not think. So we have multiple chaplains in our fire department, and one of their chaplain's daughter, his oldest daughter, 17, passed away from a brain tumor, and she had leukemia when she was much younger, and then it came back with a vengeance about this time last year, and she lasted one year, and she passed away. She was a Christian. Obviously, the family's chaplain, they're all Christians, but we had that. A bunch of the fire department people went. So on the heels of the joy of getting pigs out here and starting this new position that I've wanted for a while, we had kind of that sorrow that Monday. So, but Monday was the last day of the cycle. I did get to speak with the chaplain a little bit, prayed for his family, and came home and was very excited about the week. And then our golf cart that we purchased went kaput. We literally just bought it. It's a used golf cart. We were trying to be smart and buy an old gas one. I have been told the gas ones are better, and let me rephrase that. The gas one is better for what we're trying to do. So running around on the property, using it every day, a little 2-cycle, is a good way to go. Well, apparently the starter generator on it was garbage, and it's so old they don't make that from the manufacturer anymore. They do make one, but the one that was on there was the same one from that company that they make new ones for, and it was trash. So we actually bought another golf cart for parts from the guy that's fixing it for us. So we'll have 2 golf carts on the property. One will work and one won't. But that was extra that we thought we weren't. Additional expense we didn't think was going to happen. So we were getting all that taken care of. And then Thursday evening, I am planning my next video. The nipple waters came in, as you guys can see. I've sent some pictures of them. It's pretty strong spring, but it looks pretty well made also. I think I'll be able to cut this spring down a little bit for the chickens. And I think it'll work for them. It'll definitely work for the pigs. And I was all set for Friday morning to wake up, put these things in, film a video, and then shoot it out to you guys. When Thursday night, my wife says to me, the stove isn't getting very hot. And I said, it's no problem. I'll take a look at it. So I pop the bottom off in the oven, and the glow plug is going, and that's it. No propane flowing. So I try the top knobs, no propane there either. So I go out and look, and sure enough, our propane tank is completely empty. We have a 125-gallon tank, and a few weeks ago, we had the discussion that we should probably look at it and see when it's going to run out, and nothing happened after that conversation. And since we've only been out here since August, the end of August, and it was filled before we bought it, so we thought, no problem, we'll be good. The only things on the house that run from propane are the water heater and the stove. So I figured we can't be using it that quickly. It'll last months and months and months. Well, it lasted months and months, and that's it. So I called the company, the local company here, and said, hey, I need to get serviced. Of course, they weren't open Thursday night. So Friday morning, I call them. 7:30 is when they open, so I'm on the phone at 7:30. And I said, hey, I need you to come out and do it. And she said, well, the fastest way to do it is to apply online. Otherwise, we have to mail you a credit check. And I was like, no, I don't need a credit check. I just want to pay for it, and you come fill my tank. And they said, yeah, that's not how this works. So you have to go online. You have to do this whole thing. So I went online. I filled out all the information. I paid for it. And I get an email that says, congratulations. As soon as we get an onboarder to onboard you, we'll give you a call about when we can come deliver propane. Nowhere on this thing was there a place on the form where I could put out, I need you to come out immediately. So I was done by, 7:45, 8 o'clock in the morning, and nothing from them. So I wait until noon, and I call the number back, and the lady says, hey, I see here, but you still have to wait for it to be onboarded. But that normally only takes a day or so, and then we'll be out. And you also have to have a safety inspection. I said, okay, safety inspection, that makes sense. And she says, the earliest we can do your safety inspection is January 10th. And I said, January 10th? January 10th. So I'm going to go the entire month of December with no propane. None. No propane. And then you see the smokestack behind me? We'll get to that in just a sec. That has to do with this propane. And she says, no. We'll come out before then with your delivery, but you won't get your safety inspection until January. And I said, well, with all due respect, maybe next time you lead with, we'll be there as soon as possible. And I said, okay, so when can I expect propane? This is Friday, mind you. And she says, well, it's going to get onboarded, and then dispatch will figure it out, and we'll give you a call. I said, okay, well, give me the worst case scenario. What is the longest it could possibly be? And she says, 5 business days is the max from when it gets onboarded. So I don't know. I have not received a call yet. Of course, it's been the weekend. So Friday came, Friday went. Now, here's the end of this week ended on a big high at the same time. Somebody from my department asked me to do their wedding, and that was this week, and it was over in Cape Charles, lovely part of the Eastern Shore. Unfortunately, it's 108 miles away from me, where I live, and my family, Betty says, my sister ran into that in Tennessee. Sometimes the wait is 2 or 3 weeks. Yeah, we'll see. We looked up a couple other companies here locally to see what their delivery times were, and the same, it was up to 9 or 10 business days. Although some of them might get to you quicker if you pay an extra fee, maybe. Oh, to make this even better, my house is nowhere near the street. Nowhere near the street. Even when you drive down my driveway, you can't see my house until you're just about on it. So my wife and I are out in the field looking at the piggies. This is Friday evening, or Friday about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and we're just sitting there talking about what's going on. And this propane tank drives down my street. Nobody drives down my street, like, unless they live down my street. And there it goes, boo, 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 boo. The propane tank from the company that I need. And I thought he was pulling up the driveway. So I'm like, yeah, right here. Come on. Nope. Right on going. So I don't know what the odds are of that actually happening, but it was a bit of a reminder that my hope is not in man. My goodness. So they asked me to do this wedding, and of course this is 9 months ago, and I agreed. But the same day of the wedding, my children have their Christmas recital, which I did not know was going to happen. So instead of my whole family coming with me, I went over to the Eastern Shore Friday by myself. Stayed in a hotel, which was fine. I don't mind any of that, but I had to leave the house like with no hot water and no stove. Everything else runs off electric. So Friday morning, instead of filming a video, what we did was we hooked Lucy up, and I have this wood burning stove here. Actually, you probably won't be able to see it. Let's try this. Risky. Anyways, down there in the darkness, is a wood burning stove. And I had that stove in the barn. So I went to the barn with Lucy. We were able to pick it up. Lucy's my tractor. For those of you that don't know, we love Lucy. She did a wonderful job. Found out that that's about her weight limit though. And I picked it up and I brought it over here. This is in the backyard. I'm sitting on my porch right now. And cleaned it up, oiled the top of it. Because it's made out of cast iron, so essentially the whole thing is a giant cooking surface if you really wanted it to be. So got it all cleaned up. And I took the kids out Friday morning before school. We homeschool, but before they started that, and we started cutting up firewood and splitting wood. And we've been using it for cooking on. We've been grilling on it, using the griddle. We've had lovely hot breakfasts. We've been eating a lot of soup. And this is our bathtub. This is what we've been bathing. No, we haven't been bathing out of this. This thing, we'll put it right there as a visual, something stimulating for your eyes. We've been using that with a couple other like 7-quart stock pots that we had, and setting them on top of that fireplace, and it's been heating up the water for us. So we've literally been drawing baths this week, which is something I've never done before. And I tell you what, it makes you kind of nervous, right? So you're trying to do all this stuff and plan for all your food and grow this homestead and do these things. And I didn't even pay enough attention to make sure my propane didn't run out. So it's been, we had church today though. Church was good. And we came home and we found actually this bigger pot was over in the well area. So it gave us enough hot water that all 5 of us had nice hot baths. So that's why my hair is all shiny and slick, because I was the last one to take a bath, because you know how it is. You let the women and children first, and then it's off to the gallows for us. So as to some solutions for our propane, no, I can't hook up smaller ones to it. But yes, I can hook up smaller ones to it. It can be done. The problem is, hey, Liberty says, wow, look at this clean shaven guy. No more dial-up internet. Woo! It's still dial-up internet, but I'm using my Mint Mobile. And yes, November's over, so no more facial hair. So my regulator for my propane tank for the house, it's a 125-gallon tank, and it's screwed directly into the tank and then, hard piped in. So I could unscrew it from that tank and then put another like nipple on that tank, and then get a cord and go get another propane tank and hook it up that way. But what worries me is if I start daisy chaining things together and they show up to fill the propane and I'm not here to fix it, they either won't fill it or they'll charge me extra or something crazy. So they told us 5 business days. So I'm really expecting that since I filled out all that information on Thursday, that I should have propane again by Thursday. But what this has kind of brought to mind is that a 125 gallon tank is not enough, even though we only use it for two things. And those two things actually won't do me any good if the power goes out, because both of them are not pure propane, right? Your stove still has the electric starter, and most of them have safety equipment built into it where it won't operate and let gas out unless there is an electrical current. Same with the hot water heater. So I need a larger propane tank. I also need a way to make that propane work with the electric. Now, propane, I've been doing some research, is an extremely stable fuel. You can get, I think, 30 plus years of stability out of propane, more than diesel, more than gas, more than just about anything. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do is get a dual fuel or a tri-fuel generator. And I have seen some used propane tanks, very large propane tanks, 1,000, 2,000 gallon tanks out there for used in the neighborhood of $2,000 and $3,000. So I think I could get something like that and then get like an 8,500 watt generator, because you can cut off breakers, right? So it doesn't have to power your AC and your cooling system. You can cut those breakers off and you won't use as much power. So you won't need the whole house generator, but you could if you needed to. Now, it's way cheaper to buy a mobile generator than it is one of those like Generac systems. Those are very, very expensive. So I thought, well, maybe I'll get a solar backup. And I started looking into prices for solar, and enough solar to run my house for any length of time is upwards of $15,000 to $20,000. I have the space that I don't have to put it on my roof, because I don't like putting it on your roof, because when you have to change your shingles, you have to take it all off. So I think this is going to be a significantly cheaper option. So while we were at church today, I was telling our people why we smelled funny and had shiny faces. And one of the guys there lives in a neighborhood, and he has a tri-fuel propane is one of the fuels generator. And I think he said it was 8,500 operating kilowatts. And so he doesn't want it because it's noisy in his neighborhood. And he also has a couple 25 gallon propane tanks. So we might go ahead and buy that from him, and then I'll worry about getting a larger tank later. And then what I can do is I can rig up a switch on my main breaker, circuit breaker, that I can flip when I want to run the generator. So I think that's our current plan. So then we got home from church today, and now mind you, I left Friday at about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and I got home Saturday night after the wedding at about 8. It was 108 miles to get over there to do the wedding. Wedding was lovely. It was a great service, if I do say so myself, not just because I did it. But it was very nice. A bunch of fire department folks were there. Lovely venue in an old barn, which seems to be what everybody's getting married in these days. And it was very enjoyable. I absolutely love doing weddings, because when you're the officiant of the wedding, you get to be very, very close in this very intimate and personal moment. I mean, you're literally center stage, but if you do it right, nobody ever remembers you. So obviously the happy couple remember you, but nobody that was there remembers the officiant. They remember the two people getting married and all their friends and all that other stuff. So you get to almost hide in plain sight while still doing and sharing in this moment. So other than the fact that I had to miss my kids' recitals, which my wife did film for me, I did get to watch, and I was not able to take my family with me, it was good. So we got home from church today, and it's been a week. I talked to my pig guy. I said, how long do you leave your test netting up, or your test panels up for the temporary shelter for the pigs? And he said about a week to 7 days. That's the same thing. A week to 10 days, excuse me. So we went out there today and we took off one side of the pig panel, and that was the pictures I sent. If you guys saw the community post today, if not, you can go back and look at it. But we took off one side and just kind of rolled it away, and then we just hung out in the area just to see if they scattered, if they bolted. And I'll tell you what, they respected the wire. I mean, we were out there for 45 minutes to an hour, I think, and we fed them some slop. We actually got into the wired off area. We poked around for a bit. They didn't really spook. They didn't take off. They didn't let us get too close. But when we first got them, man, they were bolting all over the place. Like if we walked out there, they scattered and were like banging into each other in the pig pen. And now they come out to see if we have anything. And if we do, they'll stay close enough to get it to be like the first one in line, but they're not so close that you can reach out and touch them. So we have one wire down, not one wire, excuse me, one panel down. And then tomorrow, I think she's going to take down a second panel. I go back to work tomorrow, and I might be gone for 3 days. So I wanted to do our live stream tonight because I don't think I'm going to have Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday available. Monday is my regular shift day. Tuesday, I have a training thing that takes most of the day. But it's also possible I could get stuck on mandatory overtime. It's my mandatory day. And if that's the case, then Wednesday is my regular 24-hour day. So I might be gone for 3 days. So I didn't want to risk that with how much has been going on this week, and I thought we'd stop and have a chat. So I want to get these nipple waterers in and see how those go. See if I have to cut the springs and do that. But well, that'll have to wait. Even if I get home, even if I'm allowed to come home Tuesday after I get done with this training, it's going to take, I won't get home till after dark with how the way the time is right now and how clearly dark it is outside when it's 7:30. So that's going to be a bummer. So I hope to get the nipple waters in, the rest of the fence down on Thursday and film that. And then I think probably this weekend I'm going to move the pigs to the main area if they haven't started bolting out of the panel. I think they're going to be okay. They're very smart, very smart. But we'll see. So yeah, Ricky says, can I do small propane tanks? I really can't. Not with the current system I have, but I might change something else. Rip says this is the way to hook up a temporary gallon tank. Same issue. I'm afraid I'm going to lose it. People have to come over. Betty says her neighbor paid an extra $100 for the next day. Right. I think part of my problem, Betty, is I was not an existing customers. So because I'm not an existing customers, I'm not an existing consumer, user of propane and propane accessories. Dang it, Bobby! I told you to look at the knob. So I think that's part of the problem is because I'm not on their list, even though I've already paid. So they had to add me to their list, which apparently takes forever. Ricky says, I used to help glass pipe blowers. They did small tanks and hand torches. Yeah. I mean, there's a way to hook up the pipes. I'm just afraid that if I do it, then they're not going to appreciate it, or I won't do it the way their special fillway is or something, and I'll jack it up, and then it's going to cost me more money if I don't just wait. Carolyn says, power banks and solar panels and solar generators work well. Agreed, Carolyn, but I think it's going to be so expensive to put solar in, and I don't know how long the batteries last. I know solar systems can last 10 to 15 years pretty easily, but I don't know how long the batteries last. I know deep cycle, like marine batteries, last more. I don't know, but it seemed prohibitively expensive at $15,000 to $20,000 versus buying like a 2,000 gallon propane tank and a dual fuel generator. I guess I can unpin my own chat over here because my chat is working. So, hey, I can add myself as a moderator. Jeremy says, did you have to train the chickens to use them, or did they figure it out on their own? The nipple waterers? So one set of them worked by themselves. They learned it by themselves immediately. They were very curious, and so as soon as I put anything different, they come over and peck it, kind of like a toddler. They did just fine. The other ones, my Orps, the Delawares did it just fine. My rescue birds and the ones out in the big field area or the wooded area, they did just fine. And the Delawares did fine, but those Orps did not do fine. So what I did was I kept going in there and pushing it with my finger to get water to come out. And eventually, when they were really thirsty, they ran over to see what I was doing, and then they mimicked what I did, and it worked pretty well. So what I think I'm going to do with these and the pig is I might put like some peanut butter on the end or something so that it's tasty for them and see what happens. Carolyn says, I'm talking about small power banks and 1800 watt power banks with a solar to charge the batteries. That's what I have. Yeah. Well, I was a small. So how many panels and stuff do you have? Well, let me just ask you this. How much did your system cost you? if you don't mind. Two 250-watt power banks. Okay. And how long would it run what you have in starvation mode? Not, everything on and cooling and heating. But I am curious as what that would run. I did some quick Googling, Carolyn. I must admit I did not go deep down the rabbit hole of solar power. I just know that batteries tend to wear out. Batteries, power banks, whatever you want to call it. I am thinking of doing something solar out in the field, though. So when we build our greenhouse, I can maybe have some warming stuff out there. Something, a fan. I don't know. But it's very expensive. It's very expensive to not use systems that are already in place. And even systems that are in place are expensive to use. The propane is, I'm getting a special introductory rate because I'm a new customer and it's going to take them 7 years to get out here. But I think they're charging me $2.50 a gallon, $2.55, something like that. They also give a first responder discount of 5 cents off a gallon, which is nice. I didn't ask. They asked. So solar is still something I'm interested in. It just seems so expensive. But of course, I don't know how long a generator would last running all the time on propane, but I imagine it would last several years. The other thing I was thinking about too is if I have a 2,000 gallon propane tank in my backyard and I have a little, 8,000, 8,500 watt generator, that would probably last me a year or two. So, and that would give me enough time, right? It depends on what happens with everything, right? It depends on what the collapse looks like. Is it a slow collapse? Is it a fast collapse? Are we talking rolling brownouts? Are we talking the solar grid or the grid is down for, years? Are we talking we can't get the parts to fix things? What are we talking about? So if I can keep my stuff going for a year with propane, that gives me a long time to get other things in place, like root cellars and smokers and food and long-term storage. Because even if I had 1,000,000 gallons of propane, sooner or later my refrigerator is going to break. And if there's no way to get another refrigerator because it's not here and the supply chain is shot, then it doesn't matter how much propane I have. So there's it just depends on what you're trying to do. But I think I want a system in place that I could run full time for a year. And the beautiful thing about propane is it's stable. And the generator should run even, if it all sat out here for 5 years and I didn't use it, it should still be good if I needed it 5 years later with some basic routine maintenance. So I don't know. There's a lot to ponder, but it's possible that this little mini disaster is helping us to learn, forcing us to think about things we wouldn't think on. So Carolyn says the small power banks run my CPAP and other small items for about 2 nights. 250 watt was about 150. That would run electric water heater for a day or so. Okay. So the power bank and everything was 150? Because that's not bad. Or was it you had to buy a power bank with the 250 watt doodad? So, hey, Joe. Joe says, hey, Brian, and everybody here in the chat. Welcome. Adam says, a little advice for the pig nipples. Put them higher than lower. I learned the hard way. And syrup or molasses drizzled on them or train them to use it. Cool. So that's better than peanut butter, I guess. I was thinking peanut butter because it was sticky, but everybody likes syrup and molasses. So it's funny, Adam, because I messed up with the chicken waterers and I put them high. And what I ended up doing was eliminating half the use of my bucket. Chickens bend over to drink out of puddles. Like they don't normally drink at head height, So I put the next set way lower, and the ones I have on that bar are probably 4 inches off the ground, and they seem to use that just fine. So, but that's good to know about the pigs. I was thinking, about head height for the pigs. So Jeremy V says, I missed the first part of the stream. What was the emergency? Long story short, Jeremy, I ran out of propane. I'm a new user out here of propane. We've only been out here 3 months. I haven't had propane in 15 years. I thought several weeks ago, man, I should check that gauge, and I didn't. And it's going to take them up to 5 business days to get me propane. So I might be Now, the only things that are on propane are my water heater and my stove oven. So we've moved a wood burning stove out into the backyard, and we're boiling water for baths, and we're cooking on top of a uh, cast iron wood stove. So in terms of emergencies, it's not really a big one. We still have heat in the house. We still have all our electric. The fridge is running. And actually this evening, that's what this lovely bucket is. This is my big bucket for boiling water. And I wouldn't know, Jeremy. Jeremy says I've heard cold showers are invigorating. I'm too much of a chicken. They're painful. I don't like them. So we've been boiling water and making baths. And so far it's working out just fine. It's been very, very homesteady. Rip says, I think propane is a good choice. I have solar running in my workshop, but everything has its limitations. A few cloudy days and need a way to recharge the batteries. Yeah, Rip, when I was thinking of a system for the house, I was thinking more like a big system for the house. So things that could run large things. Like my excuse me, my refrigerator and fans and whatever. Not necessarily the air conditioning unit. I mean, if it really is the end of the world, then we might as well get used to living without it anyway, so off it goes. But the beautiful thing about solar is usually the sun is there. Our electric fence is running off of solar, and it does a really good job. It wouldn't make sense to have a generator out there for it. So I think it depends on what you're trying to do, right? It's like everything else in the world. Whatever you're trying to do, if you're trying to gain weight, you eat a lot of food. If you're trying to lose weight, you eat less food. But it's always a good idea to eat healthy. So I don't know. I don't know what that had to do with anything, but it sounded like a good analogy in my head till I said it, and then it didn't really make any sense. Carolyn says, sorry, my phone froze. The solar panel for 250 watt is separate and is foldable, about $100. Okay. So you're about $250, $1 a watt, give or take, Carolyn. And it does what you need it to do. And that's great. Jeremy V says, whole house and solar is going to be $30K minimum with no battery backup. Exactly. Yeah, it's so expensive. And I wouldn't mind a smaller setup, something that would keep my refrigerator running and the stove electric working and the electric water heater, or the propane water heater to have the electric it needs. But man, again, you get some cloudy days if you don't have enough of a battery backup, and to get a reliable, solid, large store battery backup is very, very expensive. So, I mean, I was looking up Elon Musk's company. He has some battery company. They make those ones against the house, and they're super cool and sleek looking, but they're like $10,000 per battery cell. I'd rather have a bicycle attached to something. Jeremy says 30,000 will buy a lot of power from Dominion. Well, and that's the thing, Jeremy. I can buy, like I said, a generator. For that guy has a used one. I'm not sure how much, but I was looking online. Anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000 will get me a plenty big generator. And then, I mean, again, propane is it's fairly expensive. So 2,000 gallons worth of propane at $2.50 or $3 a gallon, you're looking at $6,000 just in the propane. So I'm still looking at $10,000 or $12,000 if I want to put 2,000 gallons worth of propane in the ground. But propane is stable, and it doesn't matter if it's sunny. Carolyn says the 1,800 watt battery operated generator with solar panels will run the fridge all day. I have enough batteries for that to keep charging on solar and switching out for a long time. Cool. That's awesome, Carolyn. And again, I don't know, Carolyn, where you live, and I don't mean that to be spying on you, but it is dependent. I mean, I have cool winters here, so I can make heat with the stove. But some places where it's hotter, keeping stuff cool is much more difficult. Hey, AFJ3RD. I'll just call you Alfred. It looks like Alfred. It's not, but I probably won't do that. That wouldn't be very nice. Sabrina says, North Florida, Carolyn says. Okay. Not terribly different from here. We probably just get a little bit colder. Sabrina says, do you have any water sources like a stream? Consider hydro to charge backups. Lots of videos here to teach you how to make that setup. So there is Arlen. Copy. Thank you, sir. There is a stream in the back, but it's not mine. It's about 5 acres behind my property. It's on my neighbor's property. So I don't. I don't even think I've thought about digging a well just myself. Like, old fashioned well deep down, something like that. Just a pit in the ground that I could pull water out of. That wouldn't really help me with the hydrostatic dam. But I would like to try and buy the land. So you can't tell, but it's directly behind me. If you kept going that way, another 800 or 900 feet past my property line, there's a stream, and then the stream goes all the way down into a pond that actually has fish and things like that in it. So I think it might. I haven't actually gone all the way down there to look at it. I don't know if it would work or not. And I would have to either pipe the water here somehow to get the electric closer, so it generates it closer. Because you lose so much in the transmission. If I ran lines that far, I think I'd lose a lot in transmission. And I don't know which way the land slopes. So I don't know. I would love that though. I would like to get another water source on the property. Because that would be great to get that. But even still, you're looking at batteries dying. Everything's going to die sooner or later, I guess. But I'm trying to think of what would buy me the most time to get things in place. So it's always something though. You get pigs on the property, and then next thing you know, you can't take a hot shower. But otherwise, it's been an up and down week. But it ended on a good note. Ended on the wedding. Ended on taking that wire off for the pigs. So Jeremy V says your wife is going to curse you while you're taking warm showers at the firehouse, and she's home washing the kids in a bucket. She's hardcore, man. I was worried about going to this wedding, and here I am, dressed in my monkey suit and staying in a hotel and taking hot showers and having all this catered food and stuff, and they're back here on the farm slugging away trying to survive in the elements. And I must admit I felt guilty for about 3 seconds and then realized that she wanted this life, so Carolyn says having your own water well is the best thing to have. There's lots of deep well hand pumps out there to choose from. Yep. So we have the well in the back. I do want to get a deep well, hand well on it. The well guy was supposed to come out like 2 weeks ago before Thanksgiving, and he didn't. I don't necessarily think it's his fault. He gave me a day that I was working, and I gave him another day, and he said he wasn't sure, but he'd try. And I haven't had a chance to call him back yet. Let's make another tea. So, well, I mean, I've had a chance. I've been busy cutting firewood for my wood stove, so that there's a place to make food and water. If you hear some noise, that's the kettle going. I told you I have my little kettle set up. So this little mount is working really well. I think with the cellular stream and the mic and the stand, I think we're in business, guys. Like I said, I appreciate y'all hanging out through some of that lousy internet and trying to figure out this system, but I think this is going to work for us, and it's going to make us mobile too. I might do our next monthly update live and just walk around the property with you and talk with you, and you can ask questions as we go. So I like being outside. Yeah, Jeremy V says, love the outside studio. I do too. I actually wanted to do it down by the wood stove, and but I don't think the lighting's very good. You want to take a walk down to the wood stove? We can do that. Why not? Let's go take a walk. We'll wait for the tea to get hot. I'm going to lose I can read your chat while it's up there, but we're going to lose it. So let's take a walk. Let's see how this works in the dark. I'll show you our little fire stove going. At least I'll try. I thought about putting the stove up on the porch, and I was not sure if I had enough aluminum for a heat shield, and I ran out of time. Oh, yeah. Look at that nice warmth. Oh, it's so warm. Let's throw a log in there. Yeah. Let's throw another log in there. I don't need this for anything, but... like, I don't need to be feeding it right now. Except for the fact that I love fire. There we go. Yeah. Toasty. So I don't think you'll see them in the dark, but it's got two nice baffles on the front that screw out. I would normally use my cell phone light, but we're clearly using that for the chat. Oh, tea's done. So that's my porch where we're sitting this evening, and that's where I had thought to try and put this stove. But I ran into two problems with that stove. One, it weighs about 8 tons. It's not really 8 tons. It weighs a lot. And I was not sure with the people I have that I could get it up this ramp. Did you see the ramp? So there is a ramp that we could have used to get it up here, but I used the tractor to just drop it there. Ooh, tea's ready. Woo. It's a 2 tea night for those of you that didn't know. If you haven't grabbed the tea, you should get one. And I wasn't sure if I had enough aluminum for the tin, to make a heat shield. It would have been nice up here, but yes, Jeremy, it is actually American with Disabilities Act compliant. So when they built this house, the older couple that was living here, her dad was actually aging out, so they built this house specifically handicap accessible. So I have a ramp on the back. All the hallways are very wide, and the door, let's level you out of it. Boop. There, that's more level. The doorways are all like 36 inches wide, so it's actually really nice, easy to get furniture in and out. It's amazing. So Liberty Not License says somebody needs to make a video showing how excited he is to be setting up a hydroponic system. That'll be the answer to all his family food needs. Yeah, his brother would love it. I don't think he would like it. My brother's into the low tech stuff, you know. Get a stick. Go out into your yard. You don't need a tiller. Use a stick. I'm teasing him, but I love him, and he's right. And he knows way more about that, and he's tried just about every way you can do stuff when it comes to gardening. So I think the space agey stuff is cool too. This is how we would grow food on Mars. Well, great, but I'm in Virginia, so what do I do here? Liberty Not License says the tech tonight is fantastic. Thank you. I think we've got it solved for now. The MV88 Shure microphone that I had when we first started doing the vlogging thing works really well with my phone, and the cell signal by itself off of Wi-Fi is actually better than my satellite internet, so we're just going to do that. And then somebody last week, I forget who, and if it was you, please go ahead and take credit, mentioned that they keep their chat open, or other people keep their chat open, and you can stream on the other thing. So I have my computer down here. Here's my little computer. Woo! See where I'm keeping track of your chats? So I think we fixed this problem. And actually, I brought all my equipment. I almost did a live stream from the hotel to chat with you guys while I was there, but I didn't. Jeremy V says, do you have one of those old people walk-in bathtubs? No, I don't have an old people bathtub, but it does have multiple handicap rails. So Carolyn says, I wouldn't put that wood stove on the deck. The legs will get too hot and burn the wood. That's why, one of the reasons why I didn't, is I wasn't sure I had enough tin heat shields. Now, the guy had it in the barn on a sheet of metal on top of a metal dolly with 4 wheels on it. So it is actually, I don't think that would be a problem for the legs, but I was more worried about the radiant heat. Plus, my house is vinyl siding. has vinyl siding, is vinyl sided. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen what happens to vinyl when it gets anywhere near too close of a heat source, but it melts really quickly. So Jeremy V says, are the pigs in the woods yet? No, but they're close. We took down one wall today. So they have three sides that have the fence up, and then one side we took the fence down, but the electric wire is still up. And so far they haven't fled. Now I'm going to work for the next 3 days. So we'll see what happens while I'm gone. But hopefully they don't give the wife a hard time. I'm hoping if they're still in there tomorrow at noon, she'll take the drill out there and take off the other side, but she might leave it till I get home. So Carolyn says I would use ceramic tile under the legs. Yep, that would work too. Like I said, he's got it up on different things of metal about that far. So, but if I ever move it into the house, I plan on tiling all around it. We've thought about moving it into the house with this thing going on, but I hate to say I don't have a good place to put it, because that's ridiculous. There's plenty of places to put it, but not the way I have things now. So I would have to give up a book corner or a music corner or, you know, a chair corner, which isn't the end of the world, but you have to have enough radiant heat shielding and space and stuff. You don't want all it slammed up against the corner. So what I'm thinking about doing actually is buying all of the material I would need to put it in the house. So all the ceramic tile I would need, all of the heat shield stuff I would need, all of the insulated chimney stovepipe that I would need, and then not do it. So that way, if things get really bad, I can move it in there and have all the stuff on hand to actually heat my house if I had to. So if I already have it here, even if it's not installed, I don't have to worry about supply chain stuff. And the insulated chimney and the ceramic and all that stuff, it's not expensive, and I have plenty of space to store it. So, yeah, Sabrina says, not the book corner, never. Well, then what do I give up, Sabrina? Do I give up the music corner? Can't give up the music corner. There's music. I hear you. Come on. The barn cat is making noise. And I have a reading corner, which I really love. It's got a very comfortable high wingback chair and a lamp right behind me, and a nice book stand shelf unit thing. And there's a bookshelf over here, so I can pull books off and read and put my tea down and have my light. I love that corner. So yeah. Anyways, I could put it somewhere. There is somewhere I could put it. I would just have to give up something. But as of yet, that won't be. What I probably should do actually is plan where I'm going to put it, and then give myself time to mourn that piece of the property, that part of the house, and then when things go bad, move it in there. I don't know. There's another one, actually a bigger one in the cabin. It's much more decorative. Come here. I don't know if let's see if you can see. Skittles we named as Skittish. See him over there in the corner? So what he likes to do is he comes up in the evening and he cries. He's the one that was in the video running away mewing. He cries and he cries and he cries and he cries, and then you can pet him, but if you move like too quickly, he takes off. And he only comes up here if the other cat, Caramel, is up here. So if you're petting Caramel, Skittles will come over, and you can pick him up and you can hold him and you can love him. But if Caramel isn't out here, then by God, Skittles isn't getting anywhere near. Nope, Skittles isn't out here. So yes, Betty, we must have music. We must. And actually, one of the corners, my wife won't watch this, so it doesn't matter. I can tell you what I'm getting the family for Christmas. In the barn, we should get real conspiratorial. In the barn, we found a bunch of old records. Now, I used to have a whole bunch of records when I was in my teen years. I had all the Billy Joel albums, some Andrews Sisters, Glenn Miller Band. Cool albums. We found some very cool albums. So I'm getting them like a 6-in-1 record player. Um, there's a corner. Actually, you might be able to see the corner. You want to see the corner? Can you see it through the house? So that corner of the house is where we found an old record player and we put it in, but the old record player skips. It doesn't actually, I don't know if there's not enough weight on the needle, if the needle's shot, I don't know what it is. I've tried adding a quarter to it and that didn't help on top of the needle to hold it down. But this is a Bluetooth slash cassette, CD, record, aux input cable, the whole bit record player, and it looks like an old record player. So it looks like an old Victorlux, I think it's called. And I think it's actually made by Victorlux. So, or maybe it's Victor. I don't remember. But that's coming because we have stacks of these old records now. So we're going to play old records. And the kids like to wake up first thing in the morning and put music on before school or an Adventure in Odyssey or something like that. So we're going to have a record player for Christmas. The other thing we're getting for Christmas is for the family. Now my wife knows about this one, but the kids don't. Is a big telescope. We live Liberty Not Licensed says plays those wax rolls too, doesn't it? No. That's a bit old for our taste, Sonny. I think the record's is good enough for us. The wax gets too hot next to the wood stove because we don't have any propane. Goodness. We're getting a gosh, you made me lose my train of thought when I did the my old man telescope. I was taking a sip of this. The sleepy tea must be working. We're getting a telescope that you can mount a smartphone to, and it will tell you, like, if you point it at something, the smartphone will know where it's pointing, and so you can find it easy and then look through the telescope and actually see it. And for the first time, we when we moved out here, we went outside into the front field one night, and holy cow, you could see everything. You could see the Milky Way. You could see the Seven Sisters. You could see just it's amazing because Jeremy V says, how's light pollution out there? There isn't any light pollution. It is unbelievably dark out here. It's just I can't tell you how dark it is out here. We are 30 miles away from the nearest moderate-sized town, and Urbana is 7 miles away, and it's a small town, and they shut everything down at night. There's no like street lamps or anything. Like, it just goes dark. They probably can't afford to keep the lights on. So Betty says a new needle would do it. I just had to give up my last records, original Sound of Music, Carole King, the Kennedy 2, even a few Beatles. I'm that old. I hear you, Betty. There's something really cool about just that pop and that crackle of a record. And considering the fact that we're trying to do everything else very old, we're trying to make our own food. We want to make our own animals. We want to make our own implements. We want to make our own record player. Actually, I don't want to make my own. But it just is very, very nostalgic and cool. So, Betty says, best gift to see the mysteries of the sky, enjoying God's gift. Yeah, exactly. It was breathtaking to be out there and to look up into the sky. It really was. So, Carolyn says, if it skips, it needs a new needle. Good luck on finding a needle for the old players. I still have Monkeys, Casey and the Sunshine Band, Billy Joel, and a ton of other records. I also run my old record player. Yep, it's awesome. So, William says, which was the style at the time. Yep, that was the thing, man. That was the coolest. It's hard to believe that we've only had recorded music, for what, 120, 140 years, something like that. Like, very, very little amount of time have we actually been able to just listen to music. And I remember, and I'm sure some of you remember things older than me, but when CDs first came out, and you could skip to whatever song you wanted. Like, you didn't have to have the record where the cassette tape where you fast forward and stop, fast forward and stop, fast forward and stop. Trying to find one song. You could just play the same song a lot. And then they made the portable ones with the anti-skip, and holy cow, man, high living. I remember saving my money for a long time and buying a $50 or $60 record player that had like a 30-second anti-skip, and man, that was high living. That was good stuff. And now I'm like, I want a record. I don't think I have my Billy Joel albums anymore. I love Billy Joel. And I used to have all of his records, greatest hits, all that stuff on it. But there's still thrift stores. Actually, if some of you want to get rid of your records, you can go ahead and mail them to us. We'd be happy to take them off your hands. Um, there's something cool though, see about seeing the kids sit down and move the needle over. I guess it's like driving the tractor. It's just that kind of cool nostalgic thing. Maybe it's holding on to a dead past. I don't know, but I find it very interesting. Trying to reconnect with an older mindset. So, yes, yes. Betty says kids will never understand making a tape of your friend's favorite songs off the radio. And William says the best recording favorite songs on tape when they came up on the radio. Yes, yes. So, I very specifically remember doing this with Alanis Morissette when Jagged Little Pill came out. I just thought, I don't know why, but I thought that was the coolest song at that age. And I remember like laying awake, like in my bed at night, like with the record or the cassette player, right? Just waiting for that song to come on so you could hit it just right, you know? And then once you had it, you could get your other tape recorder and put the things next to each other. Do it again. But yeah, making a mixtape for your friends, man, or your own favorite hits. And you could still do that with CDs to an extent back when, burning CDs was a thing before you just drag and dropped all your MP3s into whatever folder you want. You would burn, whatever soundtrack you wanted. And I remember having, CDs for traveling with, and these were the ones you would listen to go, on road trip stuff. Jeremy V says, any new thoughts or news about the cows? Cows. All right. So, no real new thoughts, mostly old thoughts, but we plan on, I had planned on having the nipple waterers in and that film up and then cutting posts for the cows, but I had to go cut a bunch of firewood. And William says, I have to admit, I made a mixtape for a girl in high school. Yeah, I did that too. But I got my wife by actually playing drums for her. So nothing beats live, man. So everything's kind of been pushed back a little bit to now. I still have to get the waterers in. I'm trying to get the pigs moved over this week, and then I want to start cutting poles for the cows and getting them in the ground. I have the guy said that he was going to have some weaned and ready this week, and then he was going to have some weaned and ready for the week of Christmas. So I'm hoping to be ready by the week of Christmas. It kind of just depends on how things go. She has enough wood to last for the next 3 days that I'm at work, but if I come back on Thursday and they still haven't called or scheduled propane, then I'm going to have to think of something else. I might have to go buy, a 25-gallon tank or something and jury rig it, or I might be cutting more firewood. I don't know what's gonna happen. So, Joe says, I wonder if it's possible to get that song by Billie Holiday, Tomato Tomato, or Bessie Smith's Till the Cows Come Home. Bessie's a little bit racy if you understand the double speak. Yeah, there were some very racy albums actually in the early 20s and 30s that are like shockingly so, but that was before the FCC existed, I believe, so they just kind of did whatever they wanted. We won't get into old funny racy songs, but the Andrews Sisters, Rum and Coca-Cola. Yeah, listen to that as a grown-up and tell me what it sounds like. Jeremy V says, how much acreage are you planning to dedicate to cows? I currently have 2 acres cleared. 2.5, but the half is where my orchard and gardens are. So what we're trying to do is, I need a whiteboard so I can like sketch things, but the 2 acres are up front, and then there's a patch of woods underneath it, and the woods are where the chickens are right now and where the pigs are going. And what I want to do is let the pigs and chickens run through that area, and once they underbrush everything for me, I'm going to go through there and take all that small They're all small trees. I'm going to take all those trees out, and then it's going to rotate between those acres, the cows, the pigs, and the chickens. And because I have the chickens on a hot wire, netting now, I can move them wherever I need. And when I get the pigs hot wire trained, I can move them wherever I need. So for now, we're going to keep the pigs and the chickens in the woods and let them run through there and chomp it up for me so I can get it cleared so that I have space to move the cows around more. So right now I have 2 acres dedicated to the cows. Excuse me if my nose is running a little bit. It's getting a little chilly. But what I'm going to do even in that 2 acres is separate it into 1 acre each, because right now I have the winter peas and the spring oats planted through the whole thing. So if I get them in December, 1 acre actually will be enough for them to munch on. And when it starts to warm up, I'm going to throw some spring hay and stuff in there. I might actually sneeze. Excuse me. It's COVID. It's not COVID. I'm fine. But I'm going to plant the spring stuff in there while they're still in there so they can step on it and get it down in there and mix with their poop. And then I'm going to move them to the other area while that place seeds, and I'll seed that area as well. And then once they've nibbled that area down, I'll move them back to the other one, and then we'll plant winter stuff in there. And I'm planting perennial items. So I want them to be able to rotate between and itself populate. So once it's going, it's going to be a permaculture system. So they will be able to, once I have it established and I have good pasture there, all I have to do is actually rotate them through the areas, and they do good. My wife is almost done with that. I forget what it is. Good Pasture, whatever the pasture book is she's reading. Like I told you guys, she reads all the books. She gives me cliff notes, and then I go do the work. Ooh, bang the table. But yes, right now we have 2 acres dedicated to them that I want to double to 4 acres so that I can rotate the pigs, cows, and chickens through the whole thing. So all of them are pasture raised. So Joe says, a couple of years ago, I glimpsed in the Costco here a record player you could connect your PC. Is this the record player you have? I don't have it yet. The record player we have is a very old one that I found in the barn. It's a legit like 1970s thing. But the one I'm getting is I believe it's a Victor, and it takes all the different kinds. So when it shows up, I'll show you guys if you want to see it. Liberty Not Licensed says, my father grew up shoeless on the family farm. Horse and buggy, sister and water. Music was weekly visitors who played and sung. The property's been in our family since the early 1800s. That is amazing. He says Dad was a published musician who recorded much American folk music for the Library of Congress in the early 70s. Nevertheless, he also spoke of the adverse impact opportunity cost of recorded music. It's not good for man to be alone. Yep. I mean, you're right. There used to be sing-alongs and things like that. I mean, if you watch the old movies, or even movies about old Victorian era, they would all gather around the piano for a sing, and I think that's really cool and something we've lost. So, Joe says, how are the pigs coming along? In the video thumbnail pic, I saw they had spots. Are they a heritage breed? They're the guy said they're a mix between Duroc, Yorkshire, and Hereford. Now, whether they actually are or not, I don't know. So I've been calling them mutt pigs because I think when you have 3 or more types of breeds, it's a mutt. I mean, it's not. If you have a purebred one thing and a purebred another, then you can say, sure, we have a Yorkshire Hereford mix. But a Yorkshire Hereford, Duroc mix, I don't even know how long they've been mixing, how many generations, what. But the guy said they get up to weight in about 10 months, and 250, 275 is normally what they get up to in that period of time. So, and they seem healthy, they seem strong, so they'll work for me. Jeremy V says, I guess as you don't plan to breed the pigs, you're going to have to hotwire train every new group. Yes, I am. That's why I didn't do anything permanent, and I just buried the posts in the ground with no concrete or anything like that. I can pull them out. Or I can leave them there and then just put the wire back up and the paneling back up. Breeding pigs. So I did get 1 girl, and we have 4 boys. I said it backwards in the video when I was giving the update because I'm an idiot. And I had already edited it and exported it when I caught it. And I could have gone back and fixed it with editing, but I didn't really want to, so I just sent it, and nobody said anything to me about it. So, uh-oh. Liberty Not Licensed says, I'd rather hang out with you guys, but I've got a Yellowstone series commitment to my better half. Good night and God bless y'all. Well, God bless you too. I don't know what... Is that any good? That Yellowstone series? I don't even know what it's on. I saw it was rated TVMA, so I don't know if I'm old enough to watch it. So Carolyn says, why don't you breed a pair of pigs? So this is the first time I've ever had pigs. And I know there's a steep learning curve with a lot of things. There's a steep learning curve with just owning this much land, let alone trying to grow this much food, let alone having 60 plus chickens, let alone having pigs. And we are like blasting through all this stuff. I don't know if it feels fast to you guys when you watch the videos, but I mean, it feels like we're moving at a breakneck speed, which is on purpose. I don't know how long everything is going to hold together. It might hold together for 20 years, and none of this might make any sense. PBS. Oh, okay. That Yellowstone. It's not. Isn't there a Yellowstone with what's his face in it? He was in Waterworld. Hey, Leah, welcome. Anyways, I can't think of what his name. Kevin Costner. Isn't there a Kevin Costner Yellowstone series? Anyways, I don't know that he's talking about. He's probably talking about PBS Knowing Liberty. Yes, Kevin Costner. Thank you. Betty says, what? Bigger learning curve. Yes, yes. So in some of the books I've read and some of the things I've watched and some of the people I've followed, breeding pigs gets a whole lot trickier than just buying pigs small, raising them, and then butchering them. You have to keep a boy piggy. They get big. The moms can get mean. They also get very big when you start breeding them because you're not slaughtering them at the opportune weight anymore. You're just letting them grow as they would grow. It can be more expensive because you have to feed them over winter when they're that big and feed them while they're nursing and all these things. And so there's a whole lot to it. I would need a separate area, I believe, to keep the boar pig. Is that what they're called? Boar pigs? So I don't know. I don't know if it's something we're going to tackle yet. I want to. So the self-sufficient side of me is going, just do it. Just breed the pigs. Keep the boy over there. Who cares? It's fine. You can do it. And the other side of me is going, slow down, because I'm afraid that we'll get all this stuff up in the air and then I won't be able to dedicate the time I need to things that I need to dedicate it to, and the animals will suffer. And I don't want the animals to suffer. So, what is it? Discretion is the better part of valor. I'm trying to hold back the impulsive side of my nature and go ahead and experiment with these pigs, with raising them to weight, with butchering them, with processing them, with storing them, smoking them. So, yeah. But just in case I did get a girl. So if things look like they're going south, I will breed them. I mean, if it comes down to risking it to feed my family, or gosh, I don't want to try something. Well, that's a whole different kettle of pigs story. But I also don't want to overwhelm my wife because I still work full time, and I don't want to leave her here with an animal that she's afraid of either. And if that pig gets big and he gets mean, she might be afraid of him, and I don't want that. So we're just trying to, might not sound like it, but we're trying to be slow and cautious. But Jeremy says, my wife and I have been watching The Chosen. Pretty good so far. I think I got 4 or 5 episodes into that. I haven't stopped watching it for any reason. It's just that's as far as we got. Leah says, I'm very late but made it. I'll catch up. Be watching the replay later. Excellent, Leah. We have done all kinds of wonderful things. We've talked about drawing your own bath with hot water, and we took a tour around the property. Very short tour. We walked over to the stove because the phone and mic are working very well. So Joe says, yeah, pigs are a huge responsibility. My dad nurtured and raised a sow runtling in his teens, and that sow was very well cared for. What breed is the white and black non-spots? Berkshire? I really don't even know what they are, other than the guy said they're Duroc, Yorkshire, and Hereford. I don't know how many of what mix or anything. I mean, I went to this guy's place and he had pigs everywhere, just running amok. So I don't even know. I don't even know what I have, but I know they're bacon. So Betty says lots of potential issues. Seems prudent to be slower. So Carolyn says, okay, basically pigs breed themselves. 4 months later, you have babies. Yes, you have to keep them separated or you'll have pigs every 4 months. Been there, done that. LOL. Yep. So yeah, that's where I'm at with the pigs. And I want to get cows. So and like we've talked about last week, I want a dairy cow, but not yet. I want to start with a beef cow and go from there. So if the beef cow works, then we'll try dairy. So William says that can of worms is a whole new kettle of pigs. Now that's the fish calling the can black. Yours was better. Good job. Betty says Red Tool House has some good shows on pigs, but lots of problems, which she's very honest about. Yep. I just have a lot to learn still. So before I rush off into things, now granted the pigs are still small, so I can figure it out. Carolyn says if you want to butcher the male pigs, you should ban them now. It'll be very hard to ban them later. Carolyn, do you have to wait for them to drop before you ban them? Because they're so small, there's nothing even coming out the back yet. But Deborah says, hey, Debbie from Florida here. I recently watched Pete and Hillary of Just a Few Acres Farm say that he likes to castrate his male pigs because not doing that gives the meat an odd flavor. Yeah, I am planning on castrating all but one of them just in case. Because I want to leave that one available if needed for the end of the world as we know it. And I feel fine. My feed guy Buck has done it before, has castrated pigs, so I'm going to give him a call this week and see what he thinks. He told me he would help me do it once, but once is enough. I just need to see it done with him and get my hands on it. So, oh, thanks. Deborah says, great to be here. My first time being here. Great channel. Thank you. Welcome. You've joined at just the right time because we've sorted out some of the technical issues. So the screen isn't as blurry. We're not as choppy, and the audio seems to be pretty good. So, and we're outside tonight. It's a beautiful evening. It's just a scotch chilly. I probably shouldn't be wearing shorts or flip-flops, but I am because I'm from Florida and I'm not smart in cold weather. But it's a beautiful evening, and actually I can hear the fire popping in the stove behind me, and it's just good. So I look much better in high definition. Well, good. I was afraid I'd look worse because you could see all the wrinkles in my crow's feet. I'm an old man now. Thankfully, my hair's still vibrant and shiny. Lots of curl in it. Sabrina says, I know my uncle did his very young, but I'm not 100% sure on the age. Yeah, I don't know either. I think mine are about 9 to 10 weeks old, which is probably about the right time. I don't think you wait till they drop, but I really don't know, guys. There's so much I don't know about pigs. But I like to just jump in and get it happening. I mean, they're here, and I can feed and water them. I'm sure there are better ways to do things, but I have food on the farm, and that was the initial goal. We'll figure out the rest of it later. Adam says, usually castrate within 2 weeks of birth. Sterilizing is crucial this late. Expect to lose a couple. Oh, great. Jeremy says, do your kids do accents too? They do, actually. They're learning. My middle girl, when we were out looking, this is 4 or 5 years ago, we were looking in the woods for land and just kind of driving around the country. Before we actually moved out into the country, we used to just go drive away from the city and pick like country rural roads and drive around and dream about living in the country. And my middle daughter goes, yeehaw, I'm gonna kill me some animals. And that was her country, was killing me some animals. No Yuri Jr. yet. They try, but it's rubbish. Leah says it's still almost 80 degrees here outside of the Dallas Fort Worth, Texas area. Tomorrow lows in the 40s. That's just how we roll here. I would say I'm jealous, but I do actually, even though I was born and raised in Florida, I enjoy a nice, cool evening. I enjoy the leaves changing colors. It's so much fun. Ricky says, on another subject, sir, it would be nice to start some primo native pecans in some of your permaculture plantings. Interesting. Yeah, nuts and stuff is something we want to do. We found some hickory trees, some very mature, very old hickory trees over by the barn that we've been collecting. So um, nuts is on the list, but I want to get that area cleared over first and kind of expand the orchard and have the nuts and stuff like that. Chestnuts, pecans, and others. You got it, man. You can get good oil out of them. You can get good protein out of nuts. The animals love them. They're just a really good resource to have on the homestead, and they're practically, once you get them up and growing, you don't need to do anything else. So, Sabrina says, "Lucky butts, it's cold in 5B. I was born and raised in Florida, and I'm currently in the process of going back though. Well, good luck on your adventure back. I don't really want to go back. I have a lot of fond memories. I love visiting Florida, but it's just I think I've fallen in love with having seasons. Color me crazy, but seasons are a wonderful thing. There's something special about snow on the ground, things changing colors. It's also very depressing at times too, and having that spring green start to arrive and that new life. It's just awesome. We're fixing to. We're almost through the dark time, guys, in this December. So, the winter solstice is almost upon us, and then the days will start getting longer, and we can start looking forward to spring and planting. So, Jeremy says, "How far from the river are you?" I think somewhere like from where I sit, maybe 1,500 feet back, but I haven't actually walked back there because it's not on my property, and I haven't talked to the neighbors. But from what I understand from looking up the GIS survey stuff, it's owned by a little old lady. So I'm hoping to maybe in the future buy the 15 acres behind me, directly behind me, which has more mature woods in it. So when the sawmill gets here, I will actually have something to build with, and and have water access. So I haven't tried fishing there yet. To be honest, Jeremy, I haven't taken the time to start doing those things because I'm trying to get the infrastructure in place. So um, Sabrina says, "Thank you. I love the seasons too. We'll miss them. Just want to be back close to family." That's true. Carolyn says, "I was raised in South Florida and hated it. Moved to North Florida 24 years ago and absolutely loved it." Yeah, Carolyn, I did enjoy the Ocala area. It was a good. It was more seasonal, right? You have frost on the ground and stuff like that. Um, but it was the slower pace of life, I think. So I like the rural way of life, and Ocala provided that. I liked that a lot. It is hard being up here because we are so far away from family. I have some family in Delaware that's about 4 hours away. I have some family in Georgia. I have good friends in Tennessee, very good friends and family in North Carolina. But my mom and several of my siblings live in South Florida, and of course, starting a homestead and things like that with the animals and all that stuff, it makes it hard to get away. So that is the hardest part about being up here is the distance from family. But Deborah says, when we bought our house, we burned firewood that had been stacked up, and it was hickory. Our mouth watered every time we had a fire. Oh, that's awesome. Joe says, shorts and flip flops in December. I'm envious. I've returned to wearing Levi's and tennis on the account of the mosquitoes. Very active. Adam says, I read a couple reports from Europe where the females are separated from the uncastrated males and the male meat isn't tainted. Okay. I guess that would make sense because they're not full of the raging hormone. Ricky says, Indian white freestone peaches, they grow well from pits. And Carolyn says, I'm north of Gainesville in a rural area. Yep, that's a beautiful area. Hey, Ricky, do me a favor. While my wife probably knows all of these trees that you're listing, would you send me an email with all of those listed that you think would grow well in this area, and I'll see if I can find them at reasonable prices and get them, see if we can get some started on the homestead. I would love that. I don't want to lose your knowledge with it scrolling through the chat, and I would appreciate that if you don't mind. If I don't have it written down, I'll forget. So I would appreciate that. Wow, guys, we've been going for an hour and 20 minutes. um, I have about covered all of. I would thank you, Ricky. I would appreciate that. He says he can send me an email. Thank you. Um, I have folders where I save things that people send me that I want to go back and try later. So I don't lose them in the chat either because I get 900 emails saying YouTube notifications. Should probably mute all of those. I won't get a video out this week until probably Thursday, maybe Friday. So Betty says, gotta run. Enjoyed the stream, the memories, the plans. Gotta go do dishes before the youngins get home. Have a blessed week. Hope you get your propane soon. Thank you, Betty. We're just gonna wrap up anyway, so you won't miss anything except the super amazing thing that I saved for the very end for the people that stayed. But we'll wait till you leave. That's a joke. I'm just teasing you. I really don't have anything else. But yeah, I hope to get filming on Thursday because I won't be here. Hey, my brother's here. He shows up right at the end. She has to go do dishes, my brother. She said she had to go do dishes before the youngins got home, and I told her that we were going to do a very super special secret thing right after she left for the people that stayed till the very end. Oh, you guys are good sports, and I appreciate it. But anyways, I hope to film either moving the pigs over to the wire or putting the nipple waterers in, but I won't be home until Thursday. So I have to do these things on Thursday. I gotta scroll way up. Way up. Way up. Where is it? Arlen. Good night, Arlen. God bless you as well. I had to scroll back up to find where you said your name actually was. I'm sorry, I'm bad at names. So we hope to get the nipple waters in, and I hope to get the pigs moved over. And once the pigs are moved over, I hope to get that up and shown. So that's the plan. So there will be new content coming, but my daggum real job gets in the way sometimes of what I enjoy doing. So, yes, if you haven't already, please give us a thumbs up. It helps with the algorithms and all those things. Yes, my brother has written a wonderful book, Free Plants for Everyone. He does know a whole lot about grafting. I think your grafting video has over a million or two views. One of those videos you put up about, I think it was grafting, is huge. It's very good. It's helped dozens and dozens of people. Jeremy says, are those nipple waters made for livestock, or are there something that you're repurposing? No, actually, I brought the picture out because I thought you guys would get a kick out of it. Oh, nice. It was a cut above. That's hilarious. This is the the package they came in, so you can tell that they are absolutely made for livestock. The directions are kind of hard to understand. But nope, they're definitely made for livestock. It says pigs specifically, and it does. My brother says, Dave the Good says, it looks like weird candy. It does. It like something Swedish fish would come in. And like I said, I think the spring is a bit stiff for the chickens, but I'm gonna cut the springs down on a few of them and see how that works. We'll learn together. Here on Flannel Farms, we're experts in nothing, but we will happily demonstrate our failures for you and the world to see. Like not getting propane. I don't even know which way these things came in the package. They're super heavy though. I mean, when they came in, it felt like getting ball bearings. I mean, they're substantial. They feel very well made. But of course, they're from the People's Republic of China, so why would they not be well made? But I think I got 20 of them or something for like $12. So we'll see how it goes. And like I said, everything in it looks like it could be rebuilt if needed. The spring is not, you could get a new spring, and I believe that little O-ring in there, something you could purchase from a store. So if it wore out, I think you could fix it. So yes, let me make the mistakes for you. So the whole system, I'll just pull it apart for you real quick. It's got this little threaded piece on the back that has the hole in it for the water, and that just screws out. Jeremy, if it was made with depleted uranium, it would last forever. It's got a spring in it, which I think, like I said, I can cut down so it works better. And then the nipple comes out the back, and there's just that little O-ring right there. So if that O-ring wears out, I'm pretty sure you could get another one very easily from your local Ace Hardware, where the helpful folks are. Yes, Deborah. Actually, I have heard of Living Traditions on YouTube channel. I think I've subscribed to them. I just don't know if I've watched anything. She says he came up with a pretty good, cleaner way to feed and water his pigs. He has a great tutorial on it too. Cool. The waterers that I put in for the chickens are working really well. If you haven't seen that video that I did, the chintzy chicken ones were kind of leaking. So I don't know if it's just an O-ring that I could replace on those, but I don't think it works. It works. I swapped out a few of them, and I just don't know if it doesn't have enough back pressure on the spring. I don't know if the O-ring has gone bad, but I haven't had them up very long. But it's only dripping really slow. So the 55-gallon drum I have is opaque, so the water is clean in it. The sunlight doesn't turn it into algae. I throw a little apple cider vinegar in there. I can fill that thing up, and like it feeds or waters, excuse me, my 30 chickens that are out there for over a week. So I only have to fill it up about once a week. And that's worked pretty well. But I wanted to get something more heavy duty. And I know you could do nipple waterers for pigs. So all of yours leaked, Carolyn? She said, I tried them and they all leak a little. I've only had like 2 that are leaking. So, but Deborah, I will look up the Living Traditions one. Write it down so I don't forget. And check out his system. A lot of what we're trying to do is get, I mean, none of this life is easy, but if you can make it less labor intensive on a daily basis, you can get more things done. So I can get more animals on the property. I can grow more food. I can do, more repairs. So if I can do those things, and have more going on, then it's better. And you don't wear out as quickly either, right? So, oops, wrong button. My fingers are cold and fat. Trying to do that one. Stop it. There we go. She says, Deborah says, I'll check the video out. I've been looking for a way to put a water inside my chicken tractors. Yeah. Well, and so that's actually initially what I wanted to do, Deborah, was run it inside the netting or the chicken wire, whatever you have, on a flexible pipe that you could keep the water system outside of your tractor, so you could disconnect it, move your tractor, reconnect it. So yeah, check it out. The one I have with the 55-gallon drum isn't enough, but the nipple waterers on the 5-gallon bucket, those have worked great. I have had no leaking from them. So, yeah. Carolyn says, maybe I didn't do it right. I have to do it all by myself, and I'm an old lady. No, I don't think you did it wrong, but it's just like I said, some of mine have leaked, and I don't know why, and some haven't leaked, and I don't really know why. I didn't take them apart. They're plastic, with one little metal piece in the spring, and they are not meant to come apart like these. So that was kind of the other reason I wanted to ditch them. So, but Deborah, I still run 2 chicken tractors as well as my eggmobile, and so if I have time, I will try that. See if I can put it on some PVC, and see if it works. I use 3/4 inch PVC with T-fittings, and then drilled out. I put a cap on the T-fitting, a plug, and then drilled the hole out in the plug, and that's where I put my my nipple waterers, the ones that aren't on the actual buckets. So, Jeremy says use rum instead of vinegar, freeze protection, antimicrobial, and happy chickens. Yes, but rum is. Why is the rum gone? Rum's expensive, although I don't know if it's any more expensive than apple cider vinegar, to be honest. But actually using a 55-gallon drum is freeze protection because it's so big. So, Ricky says, do chickens like eating mint? As far as I know. And he says, you're dripping water to good advantage. Yeah, we could plant underneath it. That's true. As an irrigation system. But I'm trying to make everything mobile, even though a 55-gallon drum isn't exactly mobile. But, well, guys, do you have any other questions before we wrap it up? We've hit the 90-minute mark, and I actually don't know how long the battery on my phone will last. Oh, we're at 32%. We got a few more minutes, but if you have any specific questions, but I've plowed through my second tee, and I don't really want to make a third out here. And my toes are actually starting to get kind of cold. So, thank you. My brother says, have a good night. Love you. Love you too, brother. Thanks for popping by. I appreciate it. Benjamin says, been a sub for 3 weeks. Keep it up. I need more gardening content. Well, Benjamin, as soon as I get some more gardening content, I will put it up for you, sir. Right now we're just trying to build our homestead, and whatever we're doing to do that is kind of what I film and throw up there. I wish I could tell you I had some grand plan for the year, and how I was going to lay out all my videos and all that stuff, but I'm a very kind of what's in front of me kind of guy. I just handle whatever's right in front of me. My wife is a planner, so she might know what's going to happen in the next 6 months to a year. We do want to get a greenhouse up in the fairly near future, so hopefully we'll get that up either this month or next month, because I want to start putting I want to start my seedlings and things like that in the greenhouse. So Leah says, have a great night, everybody. Have a great night, Leah. Thank you. Carolyn says, have a blessed and safe week. You as well. Thank you very much. Like I said, I'll be back at work tomorrow. So, and the next day. Maybe we'll do our next live stream on Sunday evening again, if you all are available. I liked it. So Deborah says, have a great evening. I really enjoyed watching and listening. Lots to learn here. God bless you and your family. God bless you as well. Thank you for being here. It's your first one. I know. I appreciate it. Yeah, we're learning as we go. So I'm just sharing what I'm doing, and you guys are teaching me a lot also. So good night, Joe. He says, good night, everybody. Wishing you a great week. Oh, goodness. All right, guys. I really appreciate you being here. God bless you. Have a good week. And we will see you hopefully Thursday or Friday. And if that doesn't work, then we'll just live stream again, and I'll walk around and we'll talk. See ya.